Angel Reese, she continued her long-standing tradition last night of not selling out home games.
Did you see what just went down with Angel Reese? She finally secured her first WNBA victory. Man, it came in a high-profile matchup against Paige Buchers, another rising star who some believe deserves to be the face of the league over Caitlin Clark. With two of the most talked about names in women's basketball sharing the floor, you'd expect the arena to be packed and the energy off the charts. But that's not what happened. The crowd was surprisingly thin. Ticket prices had plummeted to just $20, and only 41 seats were sold in the final hour before tip-off. Despite all the social media noise, the vibe inside the building was flat, almost lifeless. So what's going on here? The gap between internet buzz and actual fan support is becoming impossible to ignore, and it's starting to catch up with the league.
Paige Buchers is coming to town. Shout out to Santa Claus. Paige Buchers is, you guys get it. And in their first matchup, they draw a whopping 9,025 people. Where are you guys at? Where are you guys? Where are the Paige Buchers supporters? Where are the WNBA supporters? Where are the Reese's Pieces? Where are you guys at?
Meanwhile, ESPN keeps promoting Angel Reese as the new face of the WNBA, largely because of her massive social media following. But when it comes to actually packing arenas and grabbing nationwide headlines, it's getting clearer by the day. Caitlin Clark is the one truly powering the league's momentum.
Ooh. Who has the most TikTok followers? Ooh. Who has the most Twitter followers? Ooh. Who has the most Instagram? Who has the most this? Who has the most that? Who has the most viewership? Who has the most attendance? Who has the biggest impact on the game? We all know the answer to that question.
Let's dive into this matchup, because what happened will absolutely shock you.
I mean, after all, this is the #1 most followed WNBA player on Instagram, followed by the #3 most followed WNBA player on Instagram. And last night, they were in the Wintrust Center, the Wintrust Arena, which holds a capacity of 10.
There was a lot riding on Angel Reese's latest outing. Her showdown with the Dallas Wings had all the ingredients for a headline matchup. It took place at Wintrust Arena, which holds around 10,000 fans. But here's the surprising part. The arena didn't even come close to selling out.
Gonna put on a show. So when you see Angel Reese and Paige Buchers locking horns for the first time in the WNBA, you would expect a sellout.
Yep, you heard that right. One of the most hyped games of the season featured Angel Reese with her massive online following, playing on her home court. On the other side, Paige Buchers, another rising star with a huge fan base of her own. With that kind of star power, you'd expect a packed house. But instead, the arena felt strangely empty. It was a matchup made for the spotlight, yet the seats told a different story.
Yes, this was a traumatic experience, but I was also confused as to why this game was being played at Wintrust Arena. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Paige Buchers is a big star, right? According to the mainstream media.
Even though the official attendance was listed at 9,000, fans are starting to question whether that number was legit. Why? Because during the entire broadcast, not once did the cameras pan out to show the crowd. Yeah, kind of suspicious, right? And let's not forget, this wasn't some huge stadium. Wintrust Arena is actually one of the smallest in the state, which makes the empty seat silence even harder to ignore.
30 minutes before tip-off last night, I checked StubHub to see how many tickets were available. As I pulled up the game, I was greeted by a nice message. Hey there, Angel Reese fan! I see you're interested in tickets. You better hurry. These tickets are hot, hot, hot. We have sold 41 tickets in the past hour. Get them while you can!
Tickets were dropping as low as $20, and still, fans weren't lining up to grab them. In the final hour before tip-off, only 41 tickets were sold. Just 41. For a game featuring two of the biggest names in the league, that's not just disappointing, it's downright embarrassing.
Nearly 1,000 tickets didn't get sold for this game. The #1 most followed WNBA player? Paige Buchers, the most hyped WNBA player since last year? Very interesting how that works out.
It's a sharp reality check compared to all the hype surrounding players like Angel Reese and Paige Bueckers. Sure, their social media numbers are massive. Reese is the most followed player in the WNBA, and Bueckers isn't far behind. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Instagram likes and TikTok views aren't translating into real-world attendance. What was supposed to be a sellout crowd just didn't happen, and when fans inside the arena are whispering about how empty it really feels, yeah, something's definitely not adding up.
Reebok, shout out to Reebok, they go all out for your girl. Reebok already, we're gonna make this Angel Reese's signature logo. They already have a couple PEs ready to go. They have her clothing line. Reebok's behind your girl. Reebok's pushing your girl out there. But how come it's not translating into attendance?
There's a growing disconnect between the hype and what's actually happening. Angel Reese's social media presence is massive, and the WNBA constantly points to that, along with big endorsement deals like her Reebok partnership, as signs of growth. But here's the real question. If she's such a huge draw, where were the fans? The arena wasn't even close to packed, and the broadcast looked and felt low budget. For a game that was supposed to be a marquee event, the energy just wasn't there from the moment the ball tipped off.
Tip-off. Now, as you can see right here, the purple areas, these are the areas where tickets were still available. 30 minutes before the game, damn near the entire arena was up for sale. For less than $20, you could see these two legends in their own minds compete for the first time in the WNBA dunk.
Caitlin Clark is often compared directly to Angel Reese in these debates, and whether you like it or not, her absence is being noticed everywhere. Games without Clark on the court simply aren't pulling in the same TV ratings or ticket sales. While the WNBA likes to highlight Reese's popularity, the reality is clear. It's Clark who's truly capturing the national spotlight.
Recognition doesn't always equate to ratings. Social media followers don't equate to attendance ratings. The Chicago Bravado, they have had 2 home games this year. 2 home games against what the media would call high-profile teams, the New York Equality and the Dallas Wankers. And neither game was a sellout. Matter of fact, both games had the exact same attendance number, 9,025. What are the odds of that? What are the odds that 2 back-to-back games have the exact same attendance number?
Let's be real and say it loud. Something doesn't add up with how ticket sales are being reported. It almost feels like they're inflating numbers just to boost Angel Reese's profile. Caitlin Clark's injury isn't just a setback for basketball fans. It's a serious problem for the entire WNBA. Look around, ticket sales are dropping, viewership is slipping, and the excitement that Clark consistently brings to the game is missing. It's not just Angel Reese or Paige Bueckers facing empty arenas. The whole league feels different without Clark's energy fueling the buzz. Her absence is forcing the WNBA to face a tough truth. They've become way too dependent on one player to keep the crowds coming.
The ratings came out for the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark game. I saw some people actually trying to spin this as a positive, and I was like, they're light, 235,000 viewers. How is that a positive?
To be straightforward, Caitlin Clark is a game changer. When she's on the court, every second feels electric and meaningful. Take the Indiana Fever versus Washington Mystics matchup as an example. With Clark playing, the broadcast drew a solid 581,000 viewers. But without her, the same matchup barely hit 357,000. That's a huge drop that you can't just ignore. Even casual fans, people who don't usually follow the league closely, tune in when Clark is involved. She's one of the few players who can turn a regular game into a must-watch event. Now, compare that to the Liberty versus Fever game, one of the biggest TV ratings boosts the league has seen in years. Clark was on the floor, and the broadcast peaked at an astounding 3.24 million viewers.
And we know now if Caitlin Clark plays on Ion, it's a 1 million viewer game.
This isn't just good, it's a total game changer for the WNBA. It shows what's possible when you have a player who captures fans' attention, crosses all kinds of demographics, and gives people a real reason to tune in. By contrast, games without her, like Sun vs Lynx or Storm vs Mercury, have been struggling to attract viewers. The Sun-Lynx matchup drew around 431,000, while Storm Mercury pulled in just 344,000. Those numbers might be okay for smaller markets, but when the league is pushing to grow, they simply aren't enough to build real momentum.
Back on and play was happening. In fact, they showed back up, a play happened and there was a foul. And we showed back up as they were like readjusting themselves from a foul happening. So I don't know how much we actually missed, but you cannot have that if this league hopes to grow. You can't have productions coming back late to these games. Amazon Prime.
Here's the deal. Clark isn't just a top player, she's a major draw. She's the kind of star who gets people talking, even those who don't normally watch the WNBA. It's similar to how the NBA had icons like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Kobe Bryant, players who pulled in casual fans. That's exactly what Clark is doing for the WNBA right now. The problem? When she's off the court, no one else is bringing that same spark. Even her own team struggles to attract attention without her. Attendance issues are popping up all over, and Fever games just don't have the same energy without her presence. It's not only about who's sitting in the seats, it's the overall vibe. There's less excitement, less buzz, and fewer reasons for the average fan to buy tickets or even switch on the TV. This isn't just opinion, the numbers tell the story. Ticket sales have been hit or miss, and the drop in viewership whenever Clark isn't playing is crystal clear.
In my opinion, the WNBA still has a major problem with the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark still looking like the only draw. In my opinion, these ratings are pathetic, and the leagues to change the rules to make the game more enjoyable.
So, what's the next move? That's the real challenge. The league can't just sit back and wait for Clark to bounce back, hoping everything will magically improve. The bigger problem is they've put too much of their momentum on one player, and that's a risky bet. If the Fever, or the league as a whole, can't perform without her, it's the casual fans who will be the first to tune out, and those casual viewers are exactly the group the WNBA can't afford to lose right now. Sure, the diehard fans will stay loyal, but it's the casual audience that drives those huge rating spikes and pushes the league into the national spotlight.
I mean, they got a problem, and if this team plays like it played last night, the WNBA's got a serious problem. Okay? Because let's say you were still keeping some casual viewers, you will lose them if they believe this team is not good.
Clark's absence is revealing just how fragile the entire system really is. The WNBA doesn't just rely on her skills, they depend on the star power she brings. Without her, everything slows down. Ticket sales dip, viewership declines, and even the hype around top players like Angel Reese loses steam. Using Clark as a benchmark, the league now faces the challenge of keeping fans engaged across every game, not just those that feature their biggest star.
Disaster. And a lot of people were like, well, Caitlin Clark's not growing the game if people won't tune in with her. Look, people tuned out when Jordan went to baseball. They tuned out of the NBA when Jordan went to baseball. And then when Jordan retired, they tuned back out again until Kobe.
The bigger problem isn't just which players are on the court, it's how the WNBA is marketing the overall experience. Even with stars like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, the league keeps hitting the same obstacle. Fans aren't coming through the doors or tuning in like everyone expected. A lot of this boils down to the quality of the broadcasts. Take Reese's highly anticipated game against the Dallas Wings. Instead of a smooth, top-tier production, viewers got something that felt rushed and unpolished. Broadcasters often lean on local feeds rather than delivering a unified national broadcast. On networks like ION, fans have even complained about awkward delays returning from commercial breaks. This kind of inconsistency makes it tough for casual viewers to take the league seriously. So far, star power alone hasn't been enough to boost attendance. The question is, what's the solution?
So yeah, if these leagues are gonna succeed, it's not the hardcore fan. They got to have the casual viewer. There's nothing to pull in the casual viewer.
When Clark got injured, it wasn't just a blow to her team. It highlighted just how much the league leans on a few big-name stars. finals. Her absence revealed the WNBA's heavy dependence on star power and a lack of a wider strategy to keep fans engaged. The league can't build lasting momentum if everything revolves around just one or two players. It needs to rethink its game plan, invest in stronger marketing, and find ways to keep fans hooked even when the top stars aren't playing. If you believe the WNBA can grow a loyal fan base beyond a single superstar, drop a comment below and hit subscribe for more in-depth analysis. After seeing $20 tickets go unsold in mostly empty arenas, do you really think the WNBA can move past the hype?